Reality, it's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
The 23 films of the MCU that you know, we're going to showcase one little difference in each episode and see how things change.
Our very strength invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict. Conflict breeds catastrophe. The thing isn't beautiful because it lasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peggy Carter herself, Haley Atwell.
Before my episodes, Peggy Carter becomes Captain Carter. So you follow her adventure as if she had been the one that took the super serum.
It's been almost 10 years you've been playing this character. You brought the whole thing to a close in the very end of Avengers Endgame, and yet the story continues.
It feels like the gift that keeps on giving, but that's also partly because of the fans. They love Peggy, they've brought her back.
Some heroes will rise. Others will fall.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel has finally released the footage of Avengers What If. They showed it off at Comic-Con and then again at D23, so this is what that is. It gives you a really good look for what the series is going to be. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs, and we're doing a new round of the Avengers Infinity Saga box set giveaway. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave the What If episode that you want them to do on the video. If it wasn't clear, they're doing 23 episodes total. This is obviously mostly footage for the Marvel Zombies, for the Captain Britain, Captain America episode. I'll break that footage down in a second. But they're doing 23 episodes total, one episode for every single MCU film. Now, Kevin Feige said so far, those 23 films are just from the Infinity Saga of films. You have all the stuff that's coming up in Marvel Phase 4 and Marvel Phase 5. They'll do What If episodes for all those movies too. Zoom and enhance on all the footage that they show off when they zoom in on the logo. This is all over the What If logo itself. So you see present-day Nick Fury, then New York City, Steve Rogers as he will be in the Captain Britain, Captain America What If episode, more Red Skull, German flair, then it rotates to the other side, there's classic art with Thor and the Avengers, more footage from the Captain Britain episode with Peggy Carter. This very Ironmonger-looking Iron Man suit is the World War II era Iron Man suit Howard Stark builds for Steve Rogers, because the whole premise of the Captain America First Avenger What If episode is what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers. So obviously they're mostly focusing on Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell stuff during this footage, but Chris Evans will come back to voice the role of Steve Rogers, but it'll be a very different version of the character. He'll still be little Steve Rogers, just climbing into this giant tank version of an Iron Man suit. The reason why they're calling her Captain Britain is because she's British, but during the episode, especially after she goes through the treatment and gets the serum, they'll call her Captain Carter instead of just calling her Peggy. But even though they're flipping the Captain America idea and the Super Soldier Serum program on its head, and he's becoming a new version of Iron Man back during World War II, it seems like the relationship part of Captain America First Avenger still holds true. That remains unchanged, so they're still with each other. Maybe they ride off into the sunset, or she winds up in the ice. You get a little more Thor, even though most of these are featuring Captain America stuff, probably because those are the first couple of episodes. I believe the Captain Britain, Captain America episode will be the first one, even though Iron Man 1 is technically the first MCU film. I think they're still trying to figure out how they're going to get Robert Downey Jr. to come back and voice the character for his animated episodes, but I'm pretty sure that he will do it. We see modern Iron Man's armor on one side, then more Red Skull, then Steve Rogers getting the super soldier serum like he did originally, then Hawkeye in present day. This person with a long flowing robe and the cane kind of seems like the Watcher, but the Watcher isn't known for using a cane. It's just that there aren't that many people in the Marvel Universe that wear robes like this aside from the Watcher, and it doesn't look anything like the clothes that Doctor Strange wears. This rendering of the Watcher, with all this cosmic stuff behind him, is just the way he perceives the universe. It's not meant to represent his actual body. They do have physical bodies, they are trapped in a form, and he usually lives on the moon and watches what happens on planet Earth to the Avengers from that vantage point. We get more footage of Peggy Carter coming out of the super soldier device after getting the serum, more blurry Captain America art, while the Watcher talks about time not being a linear path, so they're sort of transitioning to the what-if part of the what-if episodes. Then we get footage of Black Panther T'Challa, but it's him as Star-Lord during the events of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and he's going to steal the Power Stone. Fun fact, it was actually just revealed that Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther himself, auditioned for the role of Drax during the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Obviously did not get that part, but they said that later it helped when they were trying to think of people to cast as Black Panther because they'd already met with him on other roles. So maybe that's why they chose to do the Guardians of the Galaxy theme for his Black Panther episode. His costume looks like a Wakandan variant of Star-Lord's costume, so it sounds like it might be a scenario where Ego the Living Planet, instead of going to America and mating with Peter Quill's mother, went to Wakanda and mated with Black Panther's mother, giving birth to T'Challa, who's half celestial. Peter Quill wasn't that young when he was taken by Yondu and the Ravagers. He had some culture. That's how he understood the concept of mixtapes, and they used that during the movie. So it would explain how Black Panther knows about Wakandan culture and integrates that with his Ravager uniform. These are just the showrunners. They're working on all the episodes, but they've been working on it for a while now up to this point, which is why they have footage to actually show off during Comic-Con and D23 this summer. This is a much better look at Steve Rogers' old-school Iron Man armor, which is basically a flying tank. And this is Peggy Carter's concept art of her Captain Britain uniform. So obviously she's probably going to have a couple different variants of it, the same way they had a couple different versions of the Captain America suit, and it evolved through the course of that movie. This is our first look at the Marvel Zombies episode, not to be confused with the Captain Britain episode, but Zombie Captain America, pretty self-explanatory. They haven't explained how they're going to introduce them, if it's going to be a twist on comic book Marvel Zombies, but in the comics, the way they explain it is that all the zombies came from an alternate reality. They do have some cognitive function, so zombie Reed Richards was able to help port them from their universe to our 616 universe. I don't need to give you a spoiler warning to say that things do not end well in the Marvel Zombie storyline for our universe. This scene of Captain Britain Peggy is just doing the exact same type of landing that Captain America did during Winter Soldier, where she spins through the air and lands with the shield down, jamming it into the ground. She seems like she's just taking down a German convoy in the middle of the street. It's just made to give you a sense for how much stronger she gets. And they do talk about it like she's had the same military training that Steve Rogers got. So when they start out, there's a lot of parity between how good they are. The difference between that and modern day Captain America during the events of the Avengers films and like Avengers Endgame is that you have a version of Captain America who just had many, many years in present day studying modern martial arts and fighting techniques. You get a much cooler scene of her version of Steve Rogers in a wide shot of the new Iron Man suit, joining her during battle with the Howling Commandos behind them. I believe a lot of those actors will be coming back to voice their roles too. Then you have the Watcher talking about heroes falling, and we get our Marvel Zombies teaser, with Zombie Captain America and Winter Soldier sort of reenacting the Winter Soldier scene where Cap throws his shield at Bucky, but he catches it and throws it right back at him. That was actually in the very first Winter Soldier teaser trailer, just because it was such a badass shot. And if you notice, Bucky is wearing his suit from Avengers Endgame, so it's implied that this is taking place after the events of Avengers Endgame. Maybe that'll have something to do with the plot of Marvel Zombies. Maybe there's some sort of tear in the multiverse because of what Thanos does, snapping the gauntlet so many times. They haven't revealed what the theme of each What If episode is going to be for each MCU movie, but you could probably guess what some of the bigger twists are, like what would happen if Ultron were to be successful and did take over the planet using the Mind Stone and entered Vision's body like he wanted to. And I know a lot of you are wondering about Spider-Man. Yes, they will be doing 2 episodes for both Spider-Man films, Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. The reason why Marvel can do this without getting approval from Sony is because Marvel has the rights to do animated Spider-Man TV shows that are under 42 minutes long. Sony still has the live-action TV rights, which is why Sony just said they're doing 5 separate Spider-Man Spider-Verse live-action TV shows. So let me know in the comments, which What If episode are you most excited to see? We got the Black Widow trailer coming in a couple weeks. There's a bunch of other footage that they dropped, so I'll do videos for all the other teasers and trailers for the Marvel Phase 4 stuff in the next couple of days. While you wait for everything, click here for my brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 Episode 1 video, and click here for my Mandalorian Episode 1 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.